30 minutes into the episode now.
Let's do welcome to Winning Tuesdays podcast reference, and my friends, four friends. We're talking DC.
Perfect. We're starting.
Nailed it. Oh,
wait, is that the real start?
Yeah.
Love it. Perfect. Okay. Anyway, so DC's really out here killing it. They had their like bunch of things are coming out thing. It was like a live stream, and so they had a bunch of trailers. They had a bunch of like game trailers. They had a bunch of like just teasers saying like we are in fact making these movies, and it's really exciting for me.
Yeah, I don't think. Are we actually recording? Is this real now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's just keep asking if we're recording throughout the whole episode.
Like 30 minutes in, we'll be like, is this actually happening?
An episode?
I just checked and it's like, yep, okay.
Okay. Well, yeah, I don't think Ryan and I are as excited for these DC slate of movies they've announced, but they're going for it.
Yeah.
I'll see the Batman movie.
Mm-hmm.
Probably, which is the only trailer I watched. I wasn't even aware that other things were announced. And now I found out about a Batgirl movie in the future.
In the works. Yeah. I should be Batgirl.
Eventually. So that would be cool to see. But,
yeah, so you've got the Batman. Very exciting. Robert Pattinson. He's a beautiful man. And somehow less so in this movie, but also more so. We'll talk about that later. Put a pin in that. But there's the Flash. It's very exciting. Hard to tell if it's Ben Affleck. Is it? Don't know. Didn't look into it.
It's Michael Keaton.
Iconic.
Because it's Michael Keaton's voice and it's his house.
There. Love it. Further, they had the Black Adam one. Very cool. They were just in a cave. And then it ended. And then they had teasers for Aquaman 2 and Shazam 2. Those were the ones where it was just like behind the scenes things where they were like, yo, we're making these movies.
It's happening.
We're doing them.
Never fear. Here's a camera of an actor.
Right.
And we'll get there.
It was so silly. It was so cute. They had like, it reminded me of like Disney Channel original movies, like in the trailers, like between, like in the commercial breaks, where you'd have one of the actors on one of those like director seats going like, yeah, we're in movies. Like that was the vibe I got from the teasers. And I think that that's a good vibe to get from Zachary Levi. That's the name of the guy. Yeah.
Shazam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's pretty exciting, won't lie. They've also got a bunch of other movies announced, like the Batgirl one and the Super Pets.
Yeah, the League of Super Pets, which has... I wanted to point this out. We were talking about this seconds before Ryan hit record, and which might be why it's such a chaotic intro. But Dwayne, The Rock Johnson, the famous individual...
Thank you for specifying which Dwayne.
Dwayne Johnson's too general.
He's one of the Super Pets in the Super Pets movie, and he's also the main character in the Black Adam movie.
Oh.
Why?
Yeah. Well, it's just a voice actor thing. He's just lending his voice.
It's just, so it's great. But what I want now is for Dwayne The Rock Johnson to play every single DC character in every movie, and just no one mentioned it.
Yeah.
Imagine Dwayne The Rock Johnson as Harley Quinn.
As Harley Quinn.
I'd love that.
In Wonder Woman 3.
Ooh, perfect. Fantastic. He's everything was scary.
But he's every main character and every villain, and why pay other actors when you can just pay Dwayne The Rock Johnson?
He's in everything.
Also,
he's in Fortnite.
What? Side note though, in those like 5 seconds that trailer was, it was longer, but it just nothing really happened in it. So but he killed it. Like he did really well. It was like I'm used to him being like kind of like goofball like Fast and Furious actor, right? Where you're like not thinking too seriously about it, but he had like this like scary face, and like he was like, ooh, I'm here, and it was fun. It was exciting
for Black Adam.
For him, yeah.
Oh yeah. Haven't you ever seen Get Smart?
I have.
He plays the villain in that.
You make a
Yeah,
good
he
point.
does.
Yeah. That lapsed from my memory. He's done this before. He's a serious actor.
He was also in Moana.
Yeah.
He's fantastic in Moana.
He's great. Have you guys seen that video of him with like the dad doing the rap from You're Welcome for like a video on this dad's iPhone for the daughter of the guy? It was really sweet.
I think so. Yeah.
It was
He's
really
good.
adorable. The guy was like, "Hey, do you mind just like saying hi to my daughter? Like just like a quick like, oh, let's just get a selfie and so I can show my daughter that I met Maui kind of thing." And then he just takes the phone and starts doing the rap into the phone, and it's
Dang.
like, aw, cute. Like,
I also saw this week a video of him rapping, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson rapping.
The Rock Johnson. Okay.
And
Yeah.
someone
Not
pointed
Eminem.
out, like, I wouldn't say he's a great rapper, but he raps a lot like Eminem. So
Right. Lots of excitement.
yes,
Enthusiasm.
I mean, he kills the You're Welcome song.
he does.
He does.
He's good at that.
Yeah. But so anyway, taking the pin out of Robert Pattinson playing Batman. The long hair, kind of shaggy, kind of weird. Don't know if I vibe with it, but also what a cutie. Let's just talk about that.
This is Robert Pattinson, Batman.
Yeah.
I saw the trailer
Adorable.
and I thought it looked good.
I think it
I'll
looks
watch
great.
it.
Yeah.
Yes, I also saw the trailer and thought it looked good. My one complaint, and this might even be a silly complaint, but it's just so dark and so like, I'm the Batman and this is a serious movie about serious things, and it's like, yeah, but the Riddler is a dude with like question marks all over his jacket, and he put a question mark in like a coffee thing,
like how much
not
did
as
that
serious
moment
as it needs to
slap?
be.
How much were you screaming when like you pan over to the coffee cup and it's a little question mark and you're like, the foam mark?
I can't say I had that exact reaction. I definitely
was my
was like,
reaction.
who's this guy? Is this going to be the Riddler? And then the camera pans over to the coffee cup and I'm like, it's the Riddler.
It's the
And then it moves on.
I think we can all agree the best part of the Batman Arkham games was finding the Riddler's trophies.
No.
You're talking the part that I looked up guides to do because they're so annoying.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I wanted him to be such a snarky,
He's a little jerk.
snarky jerk the whole time. Every time you find one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it'll be interesting, like this movie trying to differentiate itself from like the older, like Christopher Nolan Batman movies.
Such a filmmaker. I'm excited.
I am too.
Yeah. And I'm also very, very excited for the Flash one, just because they're doing Flashpoint, which I think is exciting because that's always a fun little story. But it's also like the most common Flash story, I feel like. But you know, it's cute. And Ezra Miller, I think, has a charming personality on screen. So I think it'll be good.
Now, I hope this was a joke I saw on Twitter. But going back to Batman, apparently there's going to be a post-credit scene with, or at least Joaquin Phoenix. His Joker is going to be in it.
I feel like I did hear that.
I feel like that's
and
a
that sounds
joke.
really bad.
I hope it's a joke.
My thing about it is it's like, why? Like, why would that be a thing? I don't know. I have slight faith in them that they're not gonna try to make a universe out of Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, just because, like, I know he's talked about doing a sequel. He has said that he won't do it unless, like, the director fully approves of the movie and, like, is on board with it, because he's like, I trust his judgment. If he thinks that it'll be, like, a good movie, then I'll do it. But if it's, like, anyone else, I'm not gonna do it, kind of thing. And so it's like, with that kind of attitude, especially since both of them were like, we're not going to do a sequel at first, like eventually they changed their tune a little where they were like, maybe, depending on how good it is, kind of thing. But like, at first they were like, absolutely not, no sequel, this is a one-off, like one and done, whatever. And then they were like, we'll see if it's good enough, maybe. But I don't think that they would get to the point where they were like, yeah, we'll do, like, I'm going to fight Robert Pattinson. Like,
now,
I don't know.
Before we started this, we were talking about my theory of DC is just throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks. And I think they came around to the idea of they like money.
Yeah, I hear
like, what made us money? What can make us more money?
Yeah.
I I do think that they're also slightly getting the hint that being a little less into yourselves is a good thing. Because, like,
I mean,
obviously, with the exception of Snyder Cut. No offense, Zack
but also
Snyder.
not from the. I didn't get any vibe from that from the Batman thing. Like what I was saying, like it's taking itself uber seriously. There is no room for comedy in that trailer, at least.
Mm-hmm.
I hear you out, but I do think that they're making it its own thing. Like it does have a very distinct feeling to it that is separate than the other trailers that came out, and I think that that's okay. I just because it's like you had that with Joker and you had that with Shazam. You could argue you had it with Aquaman, but Aquaman didn't hit for me, but I know it did for a lot of people. So I think
it's
yeah,
not good, but it's enjoyable.
it's not good. Yeah, but that's the thing where it's like I think they tried out a bunch of different styles in like their latest movies, and I think that they're figuring out which ones work best for them. And so, like, yes, I do think the Batman is like different and like more full of itself kind of thing. But that I think it gives off similar vibes to Joker in like that level of full of itself kind of thing, where it was like a more artsy take on it rather than like this is a superhero film. It was more like this is like an artistic endeavor that happens to be about a superhero. But I think that like they're keeping with the Shazam vibes for like obviously Shazam 2, but then also Flash has those feelings to it just based on the trailer to me. And then Aquaman seems like its teaser thing is going to be similar vibes. So it's like I think that they're like still just seeing what works for them.
So
imagine it'll be very character specific of like.
And I'm so okay with that.
Batman.
Yeah.
Hardcore things, and then it's like, and then the
I'm
Flash
gonna kill the Riddler.
kind of doing whatever, kind of joking around.
Like, he was having fun. He was cute. You got to watch that trailer. I think it's
I haven't seen any of the trailers besides Batman, so I don't know what you're talking about. But
yeah.
I saw the Flash trailer and I had a different reaction. I was like pretty meh to I don't like this because it sounds like they're very much trying to do that world building, like get the universe back together. Because they're like, well, we need a Batman, and Ben Affleck doesn't want to be Batman anymore, and Christian Bale's doing Marvel movies, so let's get Michael Keaton back.
Yeah, it was an interesting choice.
Which, like, I mean, that'd be fun. He
we
did a good job as Batman.
Yeah.
But it's just, like, interesting of, like, all right, this is what we're doing with the universe now.
Yeah, and I think that it's okay to be approaching that with those characters. Because I feel like that's one of the easier ones to do it with. I'm happy that it doesn't seem like they're super doing that with Shazam. Like, it seems like... So, like, the first one, obviously, they had, like, Superman come in at the end, right? So it was like, yes, this is in another world. And then also, they had a Batarang in it. So they were, like, alluding to the fact that these characters also exist in the universe. But it wasn't, like, all about, like, I, Billy Batson, must meet, like, Batman kind of thing. It was, you know, much more removed. And it seems like the second one will be like that, too, because the second one's all about, like, how his siblings also got powers and everything. So I feel good about it. I don't know. I'm excited. I love DC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know that I'd see the Flash one because also Cyborg's not in it.
So see it. I will so see all of these. But I am so looking forward to all of them. But we'll see. I don't know. I think that it'll be interesting to see what movies they make next because they've had like 1 billion on their list for like 2 decades at this point.
Yeah, I feel like for a long time I've heard about DC movies of them like we're gonna do this and this and this, and none of them have ever happened. And
yeah,
like there was a recent thing about Marvel where Marvel was like, these are our things on the agenda. I was like, that's like 30 things. I don't know why you're doing that, but at least Marvel's been doing this for a long time, and they followed through on it all. So I at least trust them. But DC
to do it,
is not. So to be like, this is our list of things to do, and be like, well, are you really going to do that?
Yeah.
You said you're going to do these for like 15 years.
I got beef with Adam because before the podcast, he was like, Blue Beetle is stupid.
Yeah, Blue Beetle is
and he's
dumb.
not. He's not.
I'm with Adam on this.
He's really cool. He was a sleeper cell, and that's pretty interesting.
What makes him different from Winter Soldier?
He's blue.
He's blue and he's a beetle.
Guess what? He's got a scarab on him.
What I love about, well, this is actually what I don't love about DC, but in that DC's characters are very dumb, and then what I love is they have very dumb characters, and they have the perfect opportunity to be like, this is kind of a jokey thing, and they never do that, and instead they're always like, look at this super serious Aquaman or whatever. It's like, this. You gotta play around with it.
Yeah.
Because you have like Hawk Girl and whatever, like these aren't good characters. Well, maybe they're characters.
I want a
don't know
Hawk
anything
Girl
about DC.
movie.
They aren't
That
good
would be amazing.
concepts. But they're super old ones, so you have to do them, and that's what you have to work with. But then you can be like Ant-Man is like, Ant-Man's a dumb name.
He's silly.
And they make fun of it. Like, do the same, but they never do.
I do think that they're getting closer to that. Specifically like with Shazam, and it seems like potentially Flash. Obviously that movie hasn't come out yet, so I don't know. But I think they're getting more okay with being like, oh, it is kind of really fucking stupid to like have a 10-year-old be a giant man sometimes when lightning strikes him. And so like I think that like they're getting more okay with accepting the fact that it is silly, because like in their live action movies, I should say, because in all of their animated movies and shows, they're very self-aware of how stupid it is, and like that makes it much better. The Lego Batman movie is so good.
All the
I love
DC
that one's good. They should do more of those.
Good.
Like,
they should do more of
Lego
those.
Batman movie is top tier. One of the best things.
So good.
I don't know if there's anything to do with DC. I feel like that's a Lego thing.
Barely anything other than property rights, probably. But like,
it was fantastic. Do more of that. You have intrinsically stupid and silly characters. Why are you always taking them seriously? Like, this comes back to the Batman trailer. The Penguin is in it. The Penguin, kind of a silly villain, but
really stupid.
He does look cooler in the trailer, so I'll give him that. But it is like, this is a perfect character to be like, this was something we made up 70 years ago, and he's really silly, and we just wanted to fit this little theme of animals, and here's this like, what it is, like something Cobblepot is his name, and it's like, just make fun of these characters that you made up forever ago. But instead they're like, oh, this guy's like a mob boss, and we gotta take him seriously.
Yeah,
the Penguin.
The Penguin?
Yeah.
The Penguin is a mob boss? In the comics, he has like little penguin helpers.
Yeah.
He does.
Which is fun.
We're gonna take this seriously?
Exactly.
It's funny because like there are villains within like the old comics that are serious, and you could just go with those. But it's like something else when you take one of the silly ones and you're like, no, that's our guy. Let's make him serious, because then it's a weird vibe.
Like, I feel like the Christopher Nolan ones, like Bane's a pretty serious villain.
Yeah,
solid choice.
That's a great
I know you always gotta do Joker, but at least you can play Joker as like a serial killer kind of thing. And
I think he can go either way.
And the Scarecrow's a solid villain too. Like,
Scarecrow is great. He's one of my favorite Batman villains because you can do so much with him, and they never do.
And they never do. The video games do.
Yeah,
so
the video games really do. Yeah.
Then you do more with Poison Ivy.
Love Poison Ivy.
Yeah, and you have great female characters as well, and they don't use them.
No. Poison Ivy, real quick, Poison Ivy discourse, we gotta have it. Well, so there's a couple different versions of Poison Ivy, right? There's like one of her when she's a teenager, and she's like a really big like eco rights like activist, where she's like trying to shut down factories, but one of the factories she falls into a vat. Oh no, it's not that. I think she like just gets radiation or something, but like it's like, and so then she like uses that to like control plants and everything, right? And then it's like normal, whatever. And then you have like the older one where it is like she's massively like sexualized, and it's like she's doing that, and like some people are like, why are you sexualizing this character? Like, if anything, she's gonna be wearing plaid and like jean shorts and like gardening in her free time, right? But then like some people are like, no, she's like that sexualized to like seduce businessmen and like trick them into like being like and then they get killed by plants. That's it. That's the discourse. I don't know.
That's the discourse.
I prefer eco-terrorists.
I like eco-terrorists.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I do find it funny sometimes when because obviously comic characters have been sexualized. It's a whole thing. Been going on for a long time. No, not surprising. What is funny to me is when people are like, no, there's a reason they're sexualized. It's not just for the sexiness. There's a valid reason here. It's like, no, there isn't. They just want a sexy character.
Yeah.
I was hoping one of you would say that. That's my view on it. It's like, yeah, she really would be in plaid and jean shorts gardening in her spare time, not being like, I'm here laying on my leaves. It's so silly. Oh man.
There's not really a Batman female villain that's not sexualized.
Yep. But there's not really like many just female characters in any comics at all that aren't sexualized.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
Yeah, it's a thing. And the men that write it like that, they're assholes. Today we're gonna be doing Am I the Asshole?
Oh, we were talking about Batman, or just like DC. DC, like, they've got Batman, and that's sort of it sometimes. Yeah. Because, like, outside of that, you got Superman, and, like, he's got Lex Luthor, and that's about it. Because, like, Superman's other villains, my favorite I heard about is, his name is Mr. Mixblittle.
Mixpiglet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, one of those.
Mixsible, or whatever.
And he, like, attacks Superman in his dreams, which is great, because that's, like, the only place Superman can't be Superman. But then his, like...
But then he just has to say his name backwards.
His name backwards.
Vanished. Love it.
Mixed lick blick. or like
I love
Sklim or something.
One more thing before we get into our main topic. When I was a kid, I loved reading those little books that are like, this is all the characters for Marvel and DC and whatever. And it was always funny going from like the Marvel one, which you do have silly characters, and then you go to the DC ones, and you're like, oh, these are
Polka Dot Man.
Some really silly characters. Like, I was talking about this. I might have said this already, but in the Suicide Squad movie, they have the Starro thing. That was the point when I found out about Starro that I was like completely lost on DC. I was like, you're gonna try to sell me that this starfish is a galaxy-ending threat, that it's a serious thing the Justice League has to deal with. This,
right?
And because it was like this whole thing. It was like, this is a very, very serious threat, like controls minds or whatever. I was like, but they have starfish on their face. This is dumb.
And it's like really silly looking. Like it doesn't. Like it's like it would be one thing if it was like that, but it looked scary. But it just doesn't.
Nope. It just looks silly. So I'm glad the Suicide Squad was it's silly.
It really works for that movie.
They acknowledged it.
But for anything else, I'd be like, this is bad.
Yeah. It's also interesting because I just never expected that to be like the big bad for a movie. Because it's like, from other things that I've seen, it's always been like one of those first things you take care of, and then you get onto the big bad kind of stories. And so it's just like weird. I was like, whoa, okay, I guess that's there. But they really, really did it well.
I like the whole, and it was better. Not to be on a suicide tangent, but I like that it was like actual suicide of, we need to send you in to cover up some crap America was doing back in the day that we don't want anyone to find out about. So you gotta go do this thing, and it just so happened to have this world-ending threat there as well.
Right. Yeah. That was good stuff. All right.
At least it was an actual Suicide Squad story, and not just, you're gonna be superheroes for a bit.
Oh my god.
But yes, our main topic. Reddit's the thread where you find out if you're a bad person or not.
Yeah. So it's a whole thing. Basically, these people will post like a situation that they got themselves into, and they're like, "Hey, this is the thing. I'm trying to figure out, like, am I the asshole, or is it this other person? Like, is what I did wrong,
like, am I in the
was wrong
here?
Done to me?" Yeah.
And it's funny too, because you get a solid, like, some people are just posting, and they know they're not in the wrong. And they're just like, look at this terrible
they just want
person.
validation.
And then other times you get people who have done the worst thing imaginable, and they're like, am I the person in the wrong here? And it'd be like, I killed a puppy. It's like,
I killed 3 people. I did not read I didn't like put this one in here, but because it was just so obvious, and it was just like so ridiculous. But it was this long, and it was like so many, like, it was a long one. Like, I was scrolling reading through it. Point being, it was this guy who like had gotten his friend pregnant, and then they were like on a one-night stand kind of thing, right?
Mm.
And then they were like, oh, I guess we got to get married now. And so they got married. No, they didn't. Sorry. They were just like, let's just stay together and raise this kid together. They didn't get married yet. But then at some point they were like, okay, well, we don't want an only child, because like we both had siblings. And
Going
so
down a bad hole here.
right. So they were like, well, let's have another one. So they had another kid. And then they were like, we should move into a house together because we have 2 kids. And so they moved into a house together. And then he was like, I'm scared of surgeries, so I don't want to get a vasectomy. Can you get your tubes tied? And so they were like, she was like, I can't. I don't have like insurance to cover that. And he was like, well, what if you married me and used my insurance? And so they got married. She got her tubes tied. And then he's like, 10 years later, I don't love her. Am I the asshole for not loving her? And it's like, yeah, man, you like sterilized her and he made her quit her job too because childcare was expensive. So he was like, what if you like looked after our kids at home? And so I was like, you guys are like 30 now, and like she's thinking that she has like a husband and 2 kids and a happy little life, and he's like, I don't love her. Yeah, so that was wild. But that's the kind of thing you get on Reddit.
Yeah, Reddit's sometimes a cesspool. Not as
It
bad
is.
as Twitter, but
I was looking through top of like this year, and they're all like not the a-holes. And
Right.
it's like it's very much a lot of people saying not the a-hole.
yeah. Hopefully
yeah.
you have curated a good selection for. Or
I found-
how many we'll get to.
I found a few. The first one I think is like genuinely an interesting one for us to talk about because Ryan is currently like top notch, like Hall Richter, which is like an RA but like bigger. And then Adam and I were both like on Res Life as well. And so it's dealing with like a roommate situation. And I was like, let's just make Ryan do more of his job.
You want to make sure that the time that we have for Ryan to escape his job also
He
contains
does
his
his
job.
job. Right. That was
Let's
my
do it,
thinking. Yeah, okay. So, hi, I, female 18, live with 3 other girls, all female 18 at college. The other day, a guy from another college hit me up, my friend and one of our roommates. Let's call her S. S decided to pursue talking to this guy while me and my other friends told him that we had no interest, right? So one of the roommates is with this guy. The rest of them also were like talked to by this guy, but all said like, no, thank you. A couple of hours later, the guy starts spamming me out of the blue with DMs saying, you're a horrible person. Why do you hate S? Just because you're having a bad night doesn't mean you get to ruin S's life, etc. And I was very confused. How does this man even know that I have a relationship with her? Like, how does he know that we're roommates? I called S into my room to sort out what was happening. She told me he had probably assumed we were roommates. I told her that that's really unlikely because we don't have any posts with each other because we just moved in. The only relation that we have is that we follow each other online. I told S this and she goes, oh, I guess I must have told him. And I told him your name. Oops. And I'll tell him to cut it out. Weird.
Yeah.
When I asked for the reasoning of his harassment, S said that she told him she couldn't visit him because she didn't have a car and I was unwilling to drive her. A, she never even asked me. B, it was 12:30 a.m. on a school night and I have 8 a.m.s. C, the college he is at is 3.5 hours away.
Wow.
I told her that it made me upset and for her not to give my info out to a guy on the internet. S apologized and said, I'm sorry, I had no intentions of him coming at you like that. I'll block him. He seems toxic. 2 days later, I'm hanging out with my friends in our dorm when the guy spams me again. He says things like, don't rip S and I apart. We are still talking no matter what you think. I'm on FaceTime with her right now. Come on. Let's talk. I might pull up this weekend. I approached S again, asking if she was still talking to this guy, and she said yes, and then I showed her all the things he had said to me. She shrugged it off and goes, he's just being stupid. He's weird. Just block him. I got angry because it felt like she was brushing off this harassment. And so I said, if he's so weird, why don't you block him? And she stormed out. one of my other roommates knows the whole situation and said there's no way this man is coming to our dorm. If he's this aggressive online, what is he going to do in person? I told her that our apartment is a shared space, so it's not fair if we tell S that he just can't go into her dorm. My roommate told me that it didn't matter since this is a safety issue. So I talked to her. S didn't take it so well. She called me an overreactive bitch who wanted all of the attention and stormed off again. I honestly want her to be happy, and I don't care. I just don't really want him in my room. Obviously not the asshole, but I just wanted to talk about it. Like, what do they do?
A quick beginning thing. I always find it interesting that roommate disagreements are almost always girls.
I think guys just don't talk to each other. I think if guys were like able to talk with one another, there would be more.
I was gonna protest that.
I think that's true, but I think.
I was gonna protest that, but then I remembered this year, and I was like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, because I just remember my experience as an RA versus the rest of us. Like, I had barely any roommate conflicts at all, and friends of mine on girl floors had near constant roommate conflicts. So, and I think the discrepancy is like, yeah, guys don't talk to each other, but they also don't do like really petty things against each other that make things worse.
True.
Like, guys will just, if there's a problem, they just ignore it and move on, which is also not like a probably good way to do it, but it doesn't devolve into like sniping and like petty nonsense.
Or they just talk about it and get out of the way.
Yeah, from stuff that I've noticed, it's like, I think that they'll either like really minimize it when they're talking about it so that it doesn't seem like a big deal, and then it's like a quick and easy like, oh, okay, cool, man, yeah man, whatever, man, kind of thing, and like it's like one of those talks. Or I think that like they do petty things, but it's like the guys that I've known who do petty things, other guys don't pick up on them, and so it's like the difference is like like when a girl does a petty thing to a girl, like we all notice, because like we all get it. But then like if a guy does a petty thing, like all of his girlfriends will be like, oh my god, you did that? That's petty. Like, whoa, what are you doing? But then the guy that it was against will be like, it was a regular Tuesday. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't think anything of it. Yeah. But I don't know. Anyway, tough situation.
Yeah.
This is one I put in there because it was like, some of these are just like obvious, like one way or the other. But it's like with stuff like this, like, what do you do? Like, how do you like deal with that? Because for me, it would be like, I don't want to live with this person, which is the most extreme thing, but like also the easiest.
The easiest. It seems like a solid 2 against 1 too. If 3 roommates and 2 of them were like, we don't want this guy here, and then the third roommate's gonna throw a hissy fit about it, but whatever.
Basic democracy.
There's 2 other people to live with, so you gotta think about them as well.
And then also, if you want to hang out, there's so many other spaces around.
Yeah, it's a college campus. You can go somewhere else. I do think it's like weird when you're a freshman and you're moving in with like strangers. So like my first roommate, like we did not get along, right? But like I knew from like right off the bat that we weren't going to, because like I had moved in early for an orientation thing. So then by the time that she had gotten there, like all my stuff was set up and everything. She comes into the room and she automatically asks if she can like hide her boyfriend's sweatshirt in my closet so her mom wouldn't see it, like while they were moving in. And I was like, what is this? Like, like this is automatically so much drama.
That's a red flag right there.
Right? And so I was just like, oh Lord, what have I gotten myself into? Like, this is a lot.
A funny thing too about like, it's a sweatshirt. Is your mom gonna look at the sweatshirt and be like, that's Jason's sweatshirt.
Right.
I told you to never talk to him again.
Right. And it was that kind of situation where it was like her mom didn't like her boyfriend kind of thing. And so she told her mom she broke up with her boyfriend, but of course she didn't. And so it was just like this whole scandalous thing. And she like pulls me aside like really quick. She's like, can I put this in your closet? Like as she's putting it in my closet. And then I'm just like, I guess so. Yeah. Okay. And it's just like this whole big thing. And I was like, okay. She was like, you can't tell my mom. You can't tell my mom. I'm like, I don't know your mom.
I think it's interesting about that. Like, I feel like usually if your parents don't like a significant other, that's a pretty bad sign for that relationship. Yeah. I mean, obviously, if your parents are like racist or homophobic, that's a whole different thing. Yeah. But if they're like, I don't know, that guy seems kind of bad. It's like,
They're probably kind of bad.
he probably is kind of bad, and you probably stop.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. Yeah, but no. So it's just like that is like always a weird thing about like when you first move in with someone, because like the thing that stuck out to me about that was the whole like, the car thing being like, oh, my roommate does have a car, but like she won't drive me, kind of thing. Like just automatically like roping that part in was strange.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I was gonna say those parents are usually never too wrong about relationships, because also it's like the most impartial source.
That's true.
I feel
To
like,
some
and
extent,
most
right?
cases.
Right. Yeah. Obviously there's the exceptions of
Yes.
like
Yeah.
if the parent is just like a mean person.
Yeah.
But yeah. I don't know. But yeah, I think it's kind of like it's one of those things where in general like don't give out other people's information. I think this also goes for workplaces.
Yeah.
Because that's something that I've heard about happening. It's never happened to me. Where someone will like come into your workplace and be like, "When is Sally working?" Like, don't tell them when Sally is
Yeah.
working. You don't know them.
We don't
you don't know
have
what they
a
want with
Sally
Sally.
here.
Sally.
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah. Who?
Sally
I've never
died
met
in
Sally.
1989.
Oh my god.
I saw her
Yeah.
yesterday.
But yeah, that's the thing. Is like I think it's weird to like tell people about other people's lives,
Mhm.
unless it's like if I'm telling Adam like Ryan is busy today, that's one thing. But if you guys didn't know each other, then that's weird.
Ryan's social
Yeah.
security
like,
is
minute to
555.
Oh my god! Here's all of Ryan's passwords.
This one's uppercase.
Ooh, don't forget the one at the end. But yeah, I just thought that one was crazy. Also because I feel like I definitely dealt with some of those issues whenever I was an RA. Of like I don't like this person being here in my room, being with the other person issue. You know, I feel like that was a
I
common
can
one.
say with confidence, never happened.
John is
Never was
always
told
here.
about it
Why
on
is John
my
here?
floors.
I don't like John.
It's tough with like RAs because you're supposed to like stay impartial, because it's like
Yeah.
clearly you can go elsewhere.
You
Like,
can't. Yeah.
um,
You have to kind of like nicely like suggest that to them. Like you're like, oh, like have you guys thought about any compromises?
Yeah.
Like, is there like maybe during like these nights John could come over, but other nights John doesn't
You should
come
be
over,
like,
or you go to John's.
what if, like, have you guys thought of setting up like a timetable, like when you can have
Right.
someone over? And they're like, oh yeah, what if we did that? And
Yeah,
then
they're,
they
like,
think
so
they
shocked
came up
'cause
with
they
it,
just-
and then they think
Right.
they're smart.
I love it because everyone has an RA voice.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hi, like what about like it's like always so calming. Oh my god. But yeah. Trying to think of other ones. Have you guys ever had like one of those friends that they're like, oh my god, this person, and then you're like, why don't you just like stop talking to that person? And then they're like, yeah, totally, you're so right, and then they don't. I've had those.
Nothing that specific, but I do feel like that happens a lot where like someone will complain about something, and you'll be like, you could do this, and they'll be like,
Stop.
why do that?
Right.
Why would I
Then-
solve my problem?
Why would I solve the
Right.
problem? Stop. Then stop complaining about it if you're gonna.
Yeah.
But it's the
Oh,
same thing with like
exactly.
certain people. They'll be like, oh, this
Mhm.
person's awful. It's like you don't. Sometimes maybe you're forced to be with them, but oftentimes no. Like just stop talking or hanging out with them or whatever. Like we have office hours as RAs, or
Mhm.
like you don't if that's not your office hour, you don't have to be there. And
Yeah.
sometimes you'll visit other people. It's like you don't have to visit that person's office hour. Easy way to avoid
No.
them. Like
Yeah.
I'll take this quick intermission then to talk about the new way to play chess, which is 5D chess with multiverse time travel on Steam.
I've heard
now
about
you can-
time travel chess.
Now you can win chess by going back in time and checking the king from 20 turns ago,
Yep.
but also in a parallel dimension.
I
The
love
only proper way to play chess
Yeah.
is to ruin the game of chess.
3D chess, or is it 4D? Whatever. The one that's got like multiple levels is trash. Don't like it. I love 3-way and 4-way chess because 4-way chess, like, you think you're doing good, and then you just lose your queen from halfway across the board. That's a lot of fun. And I also love, like, there's so many different, like, fun variations on chess. I forget what it's called, but there's one where, like, it's called, like, extra piece chess or something. I don't know. Essentially, you just make up your own piece, and, like, each person gets to put a thing on the board, and you get to, like, put that piece there, and no one gets to move it. And so it's just, like, a little block.
Oh,
And so
interesting.
you sort of have to play around that.
My favorite forms of chess are when you play with someone that knows a lot about chess and is really good at chess, and you purposely make the game so that all of their knowledge gets thrown out the window
Means nothing.
and none of it
Yeah.
matters. And 4-way chess is a particular good one because people who really know chess
Yeah.
are like paralyzed by the fact that they're like, well, I could do this and then all these things happen. It's like none of that matters. I have as
Everyone's
much
just doing
advantage as
whatever they
you,
want.
and the only things I know is how pieces move and
Right.
nothing else. Like, this is gonna go great.
have
I
a
can
few
get
chess
attacked
friends.
3 times before I get to move again.
It's great.
I have a few chess friends who are always trying to get me to play it, and I'm like, nah.
It's
Like,
a
I've
good
played it like
time.
maybe less than 10 times in my life, and I think that that's a good number.
You should play it
Um,
10 more times.
I also recommend there's this app called Really Bad Chess, which just it randomizes the chess pieces you have. So instead of like the standard pawns and whatever, you just get a random number and of different types, and then you play. It's way more fun.
Alrighty, so this one is a bit of a long one, so I might skip certain parts because I've highlighted certain parts that aren't needed. Okay, so my I am 23-year-old. I'm a 23-year-old female, and my boyfriend is 23-year-old as well. We've been dating for 4 years, and his family just told me that they're going on my dream vacation, and I don't know how to deal with my jealousy. For years and years, it has been my dream to visit Japan. I've been learning Japanese since elementary school, and I'm fascinated by the culture. I cook Japanese food, read books in Japanese, and stay up to date with the culture. As I'm graduating college in a few months, I would like to travel the world, but I don't have the money. My boyfriend, let's call him Jack, and his family, late 50s, are all aware of my love for Japan and my desire to visit, and they're also aware of the sensitive subject of the fact that I failed to study abroad due to COVID. The biggest problem is that every time they bring up their plans to visit, they keep asking me to help with details. So they're saying stuff like, oh, like, what about, like, this hotel and, like, going to this show or, like, stuff like that. That's, like, a 2-paragraph bit of, like, just examples of things that they're doing, where it's basically just, like, they're saying, like, hey, there's these details. Let's have you, like, put input on it kind of thing. Jack and his family have taken lavish trips for as long as I have known him. They are very wealthy and have gone all over the place, and it seems strange that right now they want to go to Japan, as it has never been on their list before. But it is the one place that I have gushed about visiting for years to them, and it's strange that they've decided to make a big show about it. I need your help on how to cope with jealousy. Is this something that I should just suck it up and deal with, or should I speak to Jack about it? I feel like it's so trivial, and it might be pointless, but I also want to know how to deal with it. Am I the asshole for being jealous about this kind of thing?
Number one, I feel like
Yeah.
you can't be the a-hole for whatever emotions you were feeling at the time because you have not
Yeah.
acted on anything yet. So there's no
Right.
judgment.
Sure.
Although jealousy is, in my opinion, the worst emotion. So
Ooh,
pretty bad one.
interesting.
But
as long as you don't act upon
you haven't acted on
There-
anything. So what does it matter?
So no, there is an update on this one, and it's juicy, and we'll get into it. But I just want us to like take a break here and talk about like thoughts on like how to deal with the jealousy, and like, is it wrong to be that jealous? Is it, like, would it be wrong to confront, like all that kind of stuff?
I do think it's wild that you are well aware that this girl is dreamed to go to this location.
Mhm.
And
Sure.
you are pointedly not inviting her, but
Mhm.
asking her to like plan it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Some comments were like, maybe they're like planning a surprise for you, kind of thing. And like,
don't and like involve her in all the planning then.
I feel
discuss
like
it as much.
big surprises like that, yeah, you shouldn't really
Yeah.
try to
Like, if you would be like,
surprise. Yeah.
the surprise is we're doing this and you're invited, and then
Mhm.
help, or it's already all planned, which
Yeah.
I think I wouldn't do given how much she
Mhm.
wants to do. But and then like you don't tell her about it, it's all planned, and then you're like, here's your ticket, we're
Here we
going
are
next
at the
week or
airport.
whatever. Yeah.
Right. Like,
I don't know.
that's fair. Yeah, I definitely think it's like just kind of rude of them, especially because of the whole like study abroad thing. If it's like if you know that they really wanted to go and they had the opportunity but like couldn't
Mhm.
already, and you're about to say like here's another thing where you're like not able to join kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like that's just kind of mean.
And
Um,
she said they've been dating for 3 years.
yeah,
That's kind of a long term, and they're 23, so like
Yeah.
right. So that's
it's it's not unreasonable to invite her.
no,
It's not like you're in high school.
not
It's like a family
expected, but it's not
vacation.
unreasonable.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it seems very rude. Rich people are rude though, so.
Hmm.
Yeah. Do you think she should like talk to them? Like, would that be reasonable to do? Would you guys do that in her shoes?
Maybe talk
I
to her
don't know.
boyfriend. I wouldn't talk to the
Okay.
parents about it.
Gotcha. hmm Would it be like, oh, I'm just like a little jealous, or would it be like, hey, could you maybe not bring it up? Like, what approach would you take?
I feel like just like, yeah, hey, like, I really wanted to do this thing, and so it's kind of it hurts to hear you guys talk about this trip that I always wanted to go on
Yeah.
when I'm
Mhm.
unable to do so.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you would have a pretty reasonable discussion with your boyfriend. Parents is always
Yeah.
difficult. I mean, I don't know
Yeah.
what level of relationship she has with her parents, but I feel like for the most part, that's kind of hard to talk about something like that. Definitely start with the
Right.
boyfriend. But
Hmm.
you see this a lot in these Reddit posts that somehow people are like super on their family side all the time.
Yeah.
So it might not go as well, but that's a good starting point to act. I guess.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Fair. Okay, so the update. So she did end up talking to Jack, right? And she said, I told him that I knew his parents meant well by it, but the way that they were constantly filling me in on details made me more sad than interested. And at first, Jack didn't understand what I was trying to say or why hearing about the trip would upset me. But then when I reminded him about the study abroad thing, he said that he would spend time helping me work through it and empathize a little bit more with it. Um, Jack told me that his parents were indirectly being rude by going out of their way to tell me about it, and he said that uh, that she should talk to his parents. And she was like, "What if you did? Like, what if you talked to them? Because I feel like
Yeah,
I
a
shouldn't
reasonable
talk to them."
suggestion.
Yeah.
Right. And he refused.
Oh.
And so red flag number one. And so then she decided to have a conversation with them, right? She was like, okay, fine, I'll talk to them. And she said that she approached it by being very much like, this is like on me, like I'm being jealous and I'm sorry about that. Like I'm just asking for help with like my problem with it. Like not saying like, you guys have been really rude to me. Like that's, like she did it nicely. And so she said that they were really silent throughout the whole time of her explaining her side and everything. And then as soon as she finished, his mom said quietly and coldly, "I'm sorry you're offended." And then
What a
and
great
then they
phrase.
just
Yeah.
kind of left. And so as they were leaving, she asked his mom if she would see them at dinner this week because they apparently have weekly dinners. And the mom said, "We'll see."
Oh.
And so she told Jack about the confrontation, and he was confused, but then changed his stance on the whole thing, saying that I was being unreasonable and I should have been able to know that they would take it poorly. And then over the course of the week, Jack's parents didn't contact her until she called them and said, like, "Hey, are we doing dinner?" And the mom said, "Sorry, that's not going to work." And so then the mom called her and basically said that they had been bringing up the trip spitefully in an attempt to make her jealous so that she would break down and beg for them to like let her come. Hopefully to show Jack that she wasn't the one. And then she basically broke up with the Reddit poster for Jack. So like the mom broke up with the girlfriend for her son. So that's the end of that story.
Rich people. Jesus.
Yeah. Also another one where it's pretty clear who the asshole is. But it's just like, whoa.
Dang.
That's probably dodged a bullet. I mean, I guess it seemed
definitely
like
dodged a bullet.
this son
Yeah.
is probably not that bad. You just gotta give him away from his parents. But, like, because given that he, like, came to her side after explaining, like, he definitely is not horrible. He is capable of understanding these things. Give him a little
he just
bit of time.
flip-flopped after talking to his parents, so.
Yeah. So, you gotta remove him from your parents. Those parents are awful. And this crazy to have this whole scheme to be like, yes, we engineered this.
It sounds like a supervillain plot. Like, oh my god, it sounds like a soap drama.
It's a Riverdale episode.
You've been saying that about everything tonight.
Just the Riverdale's on my mind. I was just watching some videos about the most recent season and how peculiar it is.
Good.
But that's crazy. Sort of like the evil like stepmother sort of thing.
Yeah, it feels like that. Okay.
I was gonna make another hot take. The world is your stage, so make a scene wherever.
Oh, I love that. Dramatic.
You know what? Dramatic. I was originally gonna say, don't make a scene, but you know what? I'm convinced. Make it. Number one, it's all about you. But number two is entertainment for everybody else.
Yeah.
True. My mom always said as I was growing up. Yes. My mom always said as I was growing up, she was like, everyone is the star of their own show kind of thing, which is, essentially no one gives a fuck what you're doing. Like, you do your own thing because they're all going to only care about what they're doing kind of thing. And I think that's so true. So, yeah, drama appreciated. Make your show interesting. And make the side character in other people's shows interesting.
Yeah.
Boost yourself up to be cast. Yeah. I do think though that we should be more dramatic about breakups, and like friend breakups included, like just all breakups.
Water.
I think. Yeah, I think like when you dump your boyfriend, you should just be like, "Get out of my life," and like.
I think take like a water gun and be like, "Bang."
Yeah. Oh, a water gun.
Carry a squirt gun with you at all times. So whenever you have like an argument, you can be like, take this super sober, and then just
think of how intense arguments would be. You like hold up the gun, and oh wow,
God.
Like we're risking a breakup here.
Wait,
whoever wins is the one who's drier. Like that's winning the argument.
It could just be everyone has like an arsenal of water-based weaponry on them at all times. You have like a bandolier of water balloons.
Oh my god, I love that. Oh jeez. You have like little water bottles strapped to you for like a magazine type thing where you like pour it in. Oh my god.
I'm picturing now someone's like on the quad at a college and they pull out like a detonator and they're like, eat this, push it, and all the sprinklers turn on.
Oh my god. God. Yeah, you should have more water-based fights with people. I think that's the solution to this problem. Oh my god. But yeah, absolutely. I do think people like, okay, hear me out when I say this, because I mean it kind of seriously, but also like not. People should have more drama in their lives, not in a way that it's like, oh, this is upsetting because it's like so dramatic, but just like make things more dramatic, I know that sounded exactly like the opposite of what I just said, but I mean, like, if you're gonna do this, like if you're gonna cut a friend out of your life, do it in a way that you're like storming out. Don't just like say, all right, yeah, it's just like it's more of a story. Like I don't know.
You know that bit in BuzzFeed Unsolved when Shane's like, I love it when serial killers have a little thing. Like it's like that. If you're gonna do something,
Make
Make
a
it
little thing.
fun.
Yeah.
Do I approve of the thing you're doing? But
Hopefully.
well, yeah, cutting
Yeah,
someone
don't do
bad,
anything
but like
wrong.
Yeah.
just drama
Yeah.
in general. Probably try to live life without drama.
Here's
What
the
I like
thing.
about drama is have drama and tell me about drama, but I don't want to be
Don't
involved
involve
in
me.
Yeah.
drama.
Yeah.
I like to hear
That I
about
think
drama
is the
like 2
level.
steps removed.
Right. Yes. I think it's great. I think drama like this is fine, like cutting a friend out. If it's something stupid like continuously wanting to be petty towards your friend, stop that. Don't do that.
Don't be petty.
Yeah, if you've dealt with it forever and you want to storm out of a restaurant, do that. Hopefully wearing a cape, so you can like, wah, you know,
Wearing a cape,
like Snape.
turn the sprinklers on, so it's like
Oh,
walking
yeah.
away from an explosion kind of thing.
Oh, love that. In Suicide Squad, not to just full circle, but in the Suicide Squad, the Harley Quinn scene, whenever she's like slashing people through a hallway, it starts very gory, but by the end of it, you're like entering into her mind, and it's all like cartoon flowers and like birds and stuff instead of blood, and I think that's lovely. And this is what the water discussion reminds me of. Like, I think all gore should be replaced by water. Hot take.
Have you seen Kingsman?
No.
I have not.
At the end of Kingsman, there's this scene where they like blow up a bunch of people's heads, but it's like fireworks instead of normal
smart.
gore. So it's
Right.
It's entertaining instead of being like, oh, this is traumatic.
That's the thing, is more movies need to just accept the fact that you don't need to be as bloody as possible to be good.
You don't need to show gore all the time.
You don't.
Stop.
Yeah.
What you
You're the
don't see
asshole
can
for
be
showing
more
gore.
effective sometimes.
Ooh, very true. There's a scene in Reservoir Dogs. Tarantino loves feet. He it's like the infamous like torture scene where some guy's getting his ear cut off. But it's like this crazy guy's walking towards him with a knife, and it's like, ooh, I'm gonna cut your ear off. And then as soon as it gets like close to the ear, it starts panning up to like the corner of the ceiling. And so you don't actually see it, and it's much worse because you're just imagining what it is. And it's like, that's horrible. I hated watching that. But also, I didn't see anything. That's all.
Yeah.
Anyway.
What rained on your
What rained on your
Yeah.
Oh, man. I think since Ryan and I asked, Adam should start.
I'm always the worst of this because nothing happens.
Notoriously someone who knows nothing before the podcast starts of what rained on his parade.
Never. I try to come up with it in the 10 seconds before I say this. I don't know what rained on my parade. I guess so I'm part of this club. I run one club on my campus, and then I'm just a member of another one. And they recently had this event, pretty cool event. They brought in city council members to have a debate, which is very cool. Interesting. I know nothing about city council, so it was interesting to hear what issues they deal with on a local level versus very publicized national elections. And the bad part is no one showed up, really, which was very sad for that organization. I don't know where I'm going with this, but it was just kind of like I went and I was like, I'm glad I'm here because I'm one of like 3 attendees, not including the like exec board of the club. And they, especially bad, they had partnered with another club to do this, and the other club, none of their exec board showed up or members at all. It's like you just slapped their name on it and did nothing.
It is always kind of a bummer whenever we like we would make programs as RAs and stuff and people wouldn't show. Like
I was like, I know this feeling. I've made programs and have no one show up before. Like it happens.
It's a bummer.
It stinks, but
I
this
remember
one was particularly like you brought in people to have like a whole event, and then it wasn't well attended.
Yeah, I remember the one I did for the puppy bowl, where we had a puppy in the dorm, maybe contraband, I don't know. But we had it anyway. And it was really sweet because it was mostly RAs from other buildings. Like I know Adam came. And it was like, I think I had like one resident there. But then everyone else was friends from staff. And it was like, well, I'll hang out with this puppy. Yeah. Oh, man.
It's a success as long as you get one resident.
I mean,
everything else is just extra.
Right.
Wild that people didn't want to come see the puppy.
Yeah.
I know. It was so cute. Oh. But anyway, mine, I already told you guys about this, but there's a follow-up part, which was not fun. But I had a creepy night the other night because I was dog walking, right? And we went behind my apartment where there's like a lot of grates and stuff. And there's little like, what is it? I always forget this. The drain thing
Sewer
cover.
grates?
Yeah, that's the one. And they're like silver, and the dog normally avoids those because like water is rushing under them, and so it's like, oh, loud noise, gotta avoid that kind of thing, right? But then when I was walking her the other night, she was like gunning towards one, like really pulling, and I was like, why do you want to go there? Why do you want to go there? And then like I get to it, and there's like a bunch of red on it, which is concerning. It Adam pointed out whenever I told you guys, it's probably just roadkill that like died on there. Something.
So
I
a
don't know.
clarifying question: is this sewer grate on the street, or you said behind
No.
your apartment? It's not.
It's
on the
behind
street?
my apartment in grass.
Oh, okay. I was thinking
yeah.
it was like one of those ones on the side of the road, you know?
No.
Like
yeah,
storm
it's like
drains,
that, but in the middle of grass. Because I have like 3 of them behind my apartment complex because it's like at the bottom of a tiny little hill, so otherwise it would flood.
Right, sure.
Yeah, and so like she was like pulling towards the other 2 when we were walking around, and then like that one she like gunned towards, and that was the one with the red on it. And it's like I don't know that it was blood, but do I feel like it was? Yeah. And then
Probably a zombie.
Right. The follow-up was that then we got like a post in the community thing that some guy was just walking into people's apartments. Like he was like checking to see if they were like locked, and if they were unlocked, he would just literally walk into their apartments. And I was like, that's creepy. It's like really creepy.
That happened in my apartment complex as well.
Dang.
Creepy.
Yeah.
Hate it. Don't do that.
I think,
you are the asshole for doing that.
Probably scary. I think that's fairly common for big apartment complex. People just wait for someone to let them in and then just check door to door.
Yeah. And so we have like our door always locked kind of thing, but we have one of those little like bars that you put under the handle so that it's like impossible to open the door from the outside kind of thing. So we have that up because it just feels a little safer that way.
Yeah. My apartment complex has security cameras as well, so
most crimes are crimes of opportunity, meaning like
I believe it. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of houses that get broken into are because like they leave a window open and it's like, oh look, a way in.
Right.
And it's like most aren't like planning out like heists of like, how are we gonna get into this house that may or may not have anything in it.
Yeah, luckily someone was like in one of the apartments that the guy walked into. Like they were just in their apartment, this guy walked in, and so then they made like the community post, and I was like, honestly, like imagine if they weren't there, or imagine if he'd been to other places before that. Like we don't know, but he just like it was like weird. I don't like it. Makes me uncomfy. But it was like the same night that the great thing happened, and so I was like, this is not not creepy.
Here's my theory. This is what happened.
Okay.
In the TV show Supernatural. Famously ended at the 5th season. I'm kidding.
Right.
Because it went on forever.
There were 7 after that, but it ended after the 5th.
Anyways, in the show, there's this monster, I believe called a shifter, which shapeshifter basically. And what it does is it takes the form of someone else and sheds its previous skin. So it has this kind of really gross gore pile left afterwards. So this is my theory, because the monster in the show lives in the sewers. So this shapeshifter lived in the sewers. The red stuff is its like body part, whatever. It took the form of some random passerby and then tried to break in to get food or whatever to continue living.
Well, I hate it, and I wanted to go back in the sewers.
And I think I'm right, and I'll accept no other answer, even though I gave a previously
I think you solved
completely logical answer.
You did say zombies.
That animal.
No,
before today.
Before the zombies.
Or it's from it.
Someone told me that. I was like, hey, guess what, besties? Like, there was a creepy thing, and he was like, I think it's a clown.
Were there any balloons
Stop
around
that.
there? Yeah.
I didn't see any. I hope not. Ooh. Yeah. So that creeped me out, and I didn't like it. Yeah. How about you, Ryan?
Oh yeah. My class today. We did like skits for HR, and it was like the skit prompt was there's a person that's not vaccinated, and you're the manager, and you're the HR representative, and you're the union rep, and you sort of have to like play it out with like 4 characters. and like people got a little silly with it. Everyone sort of did the bare minimum, which is fine because it's a little skit in college.
Yeah.
But like someone jokingly mentioned like, yeah, I don't want to get the vaccine. It's got microchips in it. And then like the teacher afterwards was like talking about the skit, and he gets sidetracked very often. And he was like, class, microchips, it's possible. And,
Oh no!
And it's like,
No,
it's not possible.
Oh, buddy.
It'd be very easy to see, because he wasn't like saying like no, but he also wasn't saying yes, or like he wasn't saying yes, but he definitely wasn't saying no.
Right.
Right.
It's like, this is a legitimate theory.
Yeah.
No, it isn't.
I always wonder if people have like ever looked at the needles when they say that. Like,
Or like if you've ever seen like a microchip, like dogs get like RFID tags in them,
yeah.
and those like they're not
you can
big.
feel them in their back.
You can see them too. Like they're tiny, but like you can see it. And like if you're getting the
bigger than
COVID
what
shot,
you'd think they'd be.
you can also see that too. You'd see if there was something in there. Ah,
People
Crazy.
are silly. Yeah.
it's possible. Someone
It's
else brought up like
possible.
aliens, like the virus came from space, like is their thing,
That'd be fun.
which like I think sounds so fun. I read a paper on
Yeah.
it, also like because I looked it up on Google, and Google
Mm-hmm.
didn't like try to be like some of this information may be misleading. No, it was like yeah,
It was like, hell yeah, this is
it took
right.
me to like
Yeah,
a scholarly
You've
page,
discovered it.
and it had like all this stuff. I mean like obviously it's completely false, but like this paper tried to present it as true because like COVID's a variation of SARS. So did
True.
SARS also come from space?
I thought you were gonna say, and SARS rhymes with Mars. Mars is in space.
We're connecting the dots here.
That's
the
a
red,
good point.
the red yarn.
Plus, I think people probably would have taken COVID more seriously if it was the space virus.
Yeah, I also think like anytime there's a new virus, we should just tell people it's from space, because that way it'll like I'm not saying it'll solve racism, but like it'll make it so that people aren't like, oh, it's the Asian flu. Like
That's a
people
good
won't be
point.
able to do that. They'll have to be like, stupid aliens.
Yeah. But I found it so funny. My teacher's like, came from space? No. Microchips? Maybe. Possible.
Maybe.
He brought up multiple times, like, possible. It's like,
Oh man,
yeah.
what a world. Yeah. Alrighty. Well, watch everything DC does.
Or don't.
Or don't.
Or do.
Or don't.
Go on Reddit and judge people with other people.
Hey, and get vaccinated.
Get
Yeah.
vaccinated.
If you're not
Get your
vaccinated
boosters.
and you don't have a medical reason for not doing so,
You're stupid.
you're stupid. Get vaccinated. Stop
yeah,
being an
generally,
idiot, and you're killing people. So stop.
yeah, generally care about other people. That'd be
Yeah.
good.
You know,
Be nice.
basic
Nice.
compassion.
Yeah.
You don't do it.
Alrighty. Yeah. That was anyway.
Good note to end of the podcast on.
Bye.
Bye.